This is The Goode Show. My name's Surinder and I'm a military spouse. I've been a military spouse for over 26 years and my guy served 30 years as a Navy SEAL and retired as a Command Master Chief. Now, I've heard a few stories and I've told a few stories and now I am sharing stories. Sit back, relax, grab a beer, grab a coffee and enjoy. Check us out on social media at The Goode Show. Welcome to this week's episode. My name is Surinder. I'm your host, and this is The Goode Show. This episode is brought to you by Compass Military, proud to serve those who serve with the ever-changing real estate needs. This is a nationwide real estate company here to help you. Check them out on compassmilitary.com. Now, as everybody knows, obviously, I was not born in America. I'm a British citizen. Well, I used to be, and now I'm an American citizen. And I remember when I moved stateside, there were some challenges that I had, and I felt alone. Now, as I've been out and about on my travels, I am so incredibly excited and so proud to meet other foreign-born spouses. And the first foreign-born spouse that I met, Fadoua Harrabi, is that correct? Harrabi. And we met in San Diego. And then you left San Diego and you connected with Lydiah. And Lydiah, I am never going to be able to pronounce your last name correctly.
No, but it's usually a tongue twister. Just say Owiti is fine.
Owiti, there we go. And both of you have a very, with great kind of like determination, based upon the fact that we are foreign-born spouses and we do have some cultural differences, obviously, and some issues and some things that need clarity on culture and customs stateside. And then when you throw on top of that, we're military spouses, that brings in a whole different realm altogether. So before we start talking about the Foreign-Born Military Spouse Network, Lydiah, let me ask you, how long have you been in the States? Because you've been in and out of the States, correct?
Yes.
So you were coming into the States for study-wise, is that correct?
No, I came to join my husband.
Oh, that's right.
I came in as a military spouse.
Okay. Now, and where
Yes.
did you come in from?
I came from Kenya. That was back in 2012. At the time, my husband was stationed in Afghanistan.
How
And
did you meet him?
I say Facebook. He says in Kenya. It depends on who you ask.
We'll go with your version.
It depends on who you ask, but I mean, we are here today. Everything else is history, right?
That's true.
So, yeah, we met and I came to the United States in 2012. At the time he was deployed, but he had his 2 weeks R&R and came back and, got me situated. And then I would say in parentheses, abandoned me, okay? And had to go back to his duty station and I was left here about a year on my own,
Wow.
struggling with everything and not knowing my right from left. Actually, there's a time I was about to cause an accident because of driving on the right side of the
Oh,
road and
yeah.
the difference between what we do back in Kenya. Yeah. So,
What
yeah.
point did you move to in the US?
Say again?
Where did you move to in the US?
Delaware, the
Delaware.
first state.
Is it a fast state? I've never been there.
It is the first state.
Okay. Okay. The
Yes.
first state that you went to. Okay. Now,
No, the first state. That is what Delaware is.
oh, I thought
Delaware,
you said the fast
the
state.
first, the first state to
Okay.
sign on to being in the US, the Union.
Yes, yes. Okay. Sorry. See, now everybody can tell, even between foreign-born spouses,
Mhm.
between our languages and dialects, sometimes we kind of like misunderstand. But he left you there for a year. Like he had to, that's a long time.
Yeah, he had to go to work and
And
was left here pregnant and soon found out I had to be on bed rest the whole time. And so that was a very, very tough year for me. Very tough year. Um, yeah.
that is crazy. I can't even. So, did you have a support system? Who was your support system? Who did you reach out to?
I had to find my support system, and guess what? It was a Kenyan community in Delaware through a church.
Wow. Okay. So
Mhm.
now, prior to him leaving, let me ask you, did you have your base ID, your military ID kind of stuff? Did you have that or no?
No.
Okay. Okay. So you
But
see,
you know what, Serena? There was no need to have them because he didn't have a station here.
yeah.
He was stationed overseas. So
Yes.
that was his station. For me, it was just living like a regular life. And
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't even know anything that related to the military, so I didn't even know what that I needed an idea. And even if I needed it, what was I gonna do with it?
I know.
You know?
Now, now, Fadoua, when you arrived in the US, um, you'd been back and forth a couple of times as well, had you not?
Yeah, I before I met my husband, I was very familiar with the country as I mean, I came as an exchange student and then I came back again as a graduate student, as a Fulbright scholar. And then within my work at the US Embassy in my country, Tunis, Tunisia, I also came back to the US for work purposes, for trainings, for visits to Washington, D.C. So I was pretty familiar with the country before I got married.
No, you've both got married, you've both moved to the US. Lydia, apart from what you have just told us now, obviously, your husband being stationed in Afghanistan, you're in Delaware there. You find your community outside of the military through the church, your Kenyan community. At what point do you interact with other military spouses?
Never.
So okay, at some point up until today, you must have interacted with military spouses up until this point. I mean, at some point,
At some point in not beginning of 2021, yes. That's late 2020 when he retired from the military. That's when I knew that I was a military spouse.
my God.
I know. I laugh about it, but I cry about it at the same time. And now you ask me why the Foreign Military Spouse Network exists. Because if I did not know anything about the military community, if I did not even know my identity as a military spouse, and I
Y-
consider myself someone very social, someone I get along with people easily. I know my way around things. I can easily find things, I can
Yeah,
risk, yeah, but because my brain would not think about his military service as anything that had to do with me,
yeah.
because where most of us comes from, the military and the civilian life is so divorced from each other. There's never any point you ever think
Oh,
of, oh, the military. In fact, right now, if you ask me the service branches of the military in Kenya, I would probably just say army, hoping there's an army, you know?
yeah.
All those other things I might not know. Okay, so that tells you how far removed people are from
Yes.
military. So the same thing I brought with me here. I didn't know that because he served, it had anything to do with me. So he was living his military life. I was living mine civilian life, except that his military life affected me every single day,
Mm-hmm.
affected every move, affected every decision, affected like our finances, affected my children, affected me
Mm-hmm.
in every single way I could think of, to a point that at 3 years, after two moves, two kids, another master's degree, I was severely depressed and I had to go back to Kenya. So that's where moving back comes in. So I left the United States after 3 years and went back to Kenya because I needed I didn't even know the name depression at the time. I just
Mm-hmm.
knew I felt like I didn't want to wake up every morning.
Yeah.
There was a feeling that, yeah, I
Yeah.
was
Of
not
gloom.
me. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
not me. And I needed something different. So we both decided, okay, it's time for me to change environments, to go back to a more familiar place, more home-like, find me some support
Mm-hmm.
and get back to finding my balance again and
Yeah.
my identity as a professional because all that you know,
Piled
meant
up?
piled up, my loss of identity, my lack of working, having kids and going to school and being full-time mommy, full-time wife, full-time student, full-time everything else, except I didn't know who Lydia was. It's
Mm-hmm.
like I was just going through the motions, waking up every morning and doing things and wondering to myself, where is my tomorrow? I couldn't see no light at the end of
Mm-hmm.
any. I just felt like I was in a constant tunnel that was constantly dark and there was no there was no light
And
for me.
yeah.
I couldn't see where it was gonna end well.
See, on one hand, um, I think to myself, it's kind of like a double-edged sword. I don't know if you would agree, Fadoua, but it's like, okay, so you've moved stateside. He's in Afghanistan. You're in the civilian sector, obviously. It's lonely, I think, regardless of whether you're a military spouse or not, really, because your partner is away from you, separated from your partner. So you're in the civilian community. You don't even have access to any needs that you may need um, because you're not surrounded by military and you're not on a base. And again, he's based in Afghanistan. Such a double-edged sword there because on one hand, you would think, okay, well, I'm not in the military. He's over there. These like this is my people over here. I can carry on and do what it is that I've got to do. But again, the thing is, you're new to the country, you know. And I feel you because I was here 6 days when my husband said to me, "All right, peace out. I gotta go, and I'm gonna be away for like 6 weeks." And I thought, "What? I just got here, and you're leaving me?" So I completely understand that, you know. Fathoua, how was it for you when you moved over here and you got married? And I've had the pleasure of meeting your lovely, lovely husband.
Thank you. Um, my situation is quite different from Lydia's, but also similar
Mm-hmm.
to hers and to yours. And I think to many military spouses that, especially the foreign-born ones, as soon as we got married, our husbands, our spouses would get orders to move away,
Yeah.
which is something that I swear everybody calls it the Murphy Law. And it's like, I never had a name for it. I just
Uh-huh.
knew that my life changed forever. And it was something that I never thought about before we got married. I think the first time we spoke about this, I told you I fell in love with a man. He happens to be in a uniform.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Clear
Mm-hmm.
and simple, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think it is the case for most service members. They don't know what we don't know, and
Yeah.
they don't know how to prepare us for the military life. It's just something that for them is part of them. It's part of their life and identity for a very long time, for the most part. Most of the service members, they join the military at a young age. And
Yes.
so most of their formative years is spent within the military. And that kind of makes things um, obvious and just like they take it for granted. But us as spouses, especially as foreign-born spouses, most of us, we already have a life before we met our husbands
Oh,
or
yes.
wives. And we have our own career, education, support system, family, culture, values, beliefs, right? And it's like this collision between two different worlds. But we didn't know,
Mm-hmm.
for the most part, what the impact's going to be like.
No. No, not
Do you
at
know what
all.
I mean?
Yeah.
And so for me, I moved to the States after we got married, 6 months after we got married. I was just making sure that we got everything situated to the best that I thought it would be situated. And then after I moved to live with my husband, 6 months after we got married in San Diego, 2 weeks later, he told me that he was deploying for over 7 months or so, give or take, right? At the other end of the world, literally under the equator.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Like, what does that mean? Should I go home? Like,
Yeah.
what am I gonna do here? Mind you, I have to wait for my green card, otherwise I couldn't do anything. I had to wait
Yes.
for a driver's license, otherwise I couldn't drive a car.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't have a bank account because I don't have those aforementioned documents. And like Lydia was saying, my identity was the somebody's dependent,
Yes.
but that somebody is not even in the country. And it's like,
Yes.
hey, so sink or swim at this point.
You know something, it is a very, very, I mean, we come from different parts of the world. We've led different lives. Yet this is our common denominator here that we have married men in the service, and all three of us. And I'm sure that there's obviously many more foreign born spouses out there where, we've said, I do. And I always say to people, listen, I didn't realize that when I said I do, I was really signing on the dotted line, you know. But we say I do, and then they go, okay, bye. And it's like, what? What just happened here, Um, let me ask you both, because our experiences are similar in a lot of ways. I'd be interested to hear. Lydia, what challenge tell me about some of the challenges you've had as a foreign-born spouse in Delaware, while your husband, just as a military spouse, throwing military spouse on top of that. What are the challenges, some of the challenges you've had?
Yeah, thank you for that. The first and the biggest one was just the cultural shock and realizing that, oh, things happen differently
Mm-hmm.
here. I had been well traveled, but it's different when you call a place home.
Mm-hmm.
When I was going to this place, that place, working for 2 weeks, 1 month, it was as, yeah, I'm working. And you go, you don't want to, you don't feel like I need to learn this about this. No, you go work, you probably in a hotel, in conferences the whole day, or just immersed in your work, and you go home. But then when I came here, this was now became home. So now I have to figure out how to live with my neighbors.
Yes.
I come from a very communal place where the moment you know there's a neighbor next door, people are rushing to your home with home cooked meals,
Mm-hmm.
coming to say hello. Their children are always, coming around to say, "Hey, a new neighbors." Things are very, very different to a place where it's almost like you ask yourself, is it okay to say hello?
Yeah.
Like, am
Yeah.
I, is this okay? Otherwise, am I gonna, you don't know. So
Yeah.
that was a big one. And
Did
I
you find
can't
people
attribute that.
friendly there? Were people friendly?
I wouldn't say so.
Okay.
I wouldn't say so. And not because of like, that's not what they are, like it's a bad thing for who they are. It's just a very different community. It's a very individualistic place. We have a very communal place. It's just who people
Yeah.
are. It's just what it is.
Yeah.
Nothing makes one better than the other. It's just that I was used to one, and that's
Yes.
what made it difficult for me to get into the other, because you have to reframe your mind into thinking, oh, this is now where I live, probably this is how I should act.
Mm-hmm.
Well, acting that way takes a long time, because even seeing how things are and adjusting is not easy. So
No.
that adjustment was pretty rough. And then as soon as my husband gets here, about a week from birth of our first child, I deliver, and 2 weeks later, I am registered to start my second master's degree, and he gets orders, and we are supposed to move. And I had just had then I had my child through CS,
Uh-huh.
and we had to move.
Oh.
Now that was gruesome.
Oh yeah.
That I can't today. I can't tell you how I went through that, because it seems to me like it has been blocked out of my memory for the most part, because it
Uh-huh.
was it was an experience I don't want to remember,
Yes. Yes. I mean,
because
that
I remember
sounds
having,
like a lot, so I can't
yeah.
even imagine going through it.
I remember having been on bed rest for the whole time, and I had some particular pains, women
Mm-hmm.
issues. And so even walking and all that before birth, and then after birth, immediately you're told you have to move. And I asked my husband, move where? He says, to New Jersey. Say, why? We've been ordered. Oh, well, you tell them. Your wife just gave birth, then he asked, tell who? And I'm like, tell whoever ordered you.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
like, he just started laughing. And I'm here very serious, wondering why this you're an adult. This is
yeah,
we are having an adult conversation here. Can you stop laughing? Because it's not a joke if you thought this is a joke.
uh,
Go tell whoever your boss says that this is not a good time. We cannot because and he's continuing to laugh and I'm getting more angry because I'm in pain. It's
yeah.
just 1 week postpartum. You cannot tell me that we need to
Mm-hmm.
pack up this house and leave. Okay?
Oh, yeah,
So having to rally that Kenyan community that I had, having to move to New Jersey for his news station, and then I was like, man, this is not it. And so the dimming of just the light that I actually thought, oh, after I give birth and I will go to school, and then this, the professional side of things.
yeah,
Oh, you want to go back to school to study law? Well, if you study in Delaware, New Jersey will have different licensing requirements. It
yes.
might take you a whole year plus to get certificates from there. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, so you're trying to find this light?
Mm-hmm.
You're working very hard to try to find that light at the end of this tunnel that you are in. But more and more,
Yeah,
it is
yeah,
just it's roadblock after roadblock. So you tell yourself, okay, I guess I have to go back to school. Okay. Now what do I go study?
exactly. Because
Now,
you
that's the
you were
other
a
part of the
you
loss of
were
identity. I was
you
a
were in
lawyer.
yeah, you were a lawyer back home.
Yeah.
So
So,
that in itself has got to have some mental
uh,
effect on you when you know that you have spent so long being studious, studying for
oh
law,
my
and
God.
now it's almost like it doesn't mean anything because you're in a different country and from state to state it's different. It's
That was the third one. If it was just that we sat in Delaware, we stayed in Delaware, things would have been different. They'd gone back
Mhm,
to school, gotten my certificate, and gotten back to normal because some of my Kenyan community, there were lawyers there who had law from Kenya and they came and figured out what to do. But now, because of my military life, this was not going to be possible for me, you know?
mhm,
Then I start to question myself, now who am I gonna be? Who am I again? Because this is a whole identity I have carried for the last 15 years plus.
mhm. Oh
I
yeah,
have gone to school for it. I have lived dreams of childhood with it. I have made it come true because I've gone through the school. I have got everything. I've even worked there. So it's me. It is
yeah,
who I identify with. Anytime someone talks, asks me, oh, so hi, what do you do? I'm a lawyer. That was me.
mhm,
Then suddenly I don't know what to say anymore. And the more I
yeah,
don't know what to say, the more my head cannot wrap itself around my new. Now I don't have an identity because
yeah,
I don't know anymore what to call myself. And the more I stay in the country and the more I get in my brain that I've lost who I am, I don't know who I am anymore, I don't know who I want to be anymore. And coupled with all those other things, the community is different from mine. I want to rant or I want to have a shoulder to lean on. It's not there because now, remember, I've already left Delaware. We
yeah.
moved there new. Now I'm in New Jersey. I haven't
Now,
decided. I don't know who
now you
who
got
to
to start
even
all
close.
over again.
Yes, and my family is in Kenya, about 10 hours away from me.
Yeah,
It's morning my time. Like I want to talk to them, but yeah. And then you have a husband who leaves very early, comes back very late. You're left in the house with kids. You have to be in school. So it was a life that I didn't know. I was going
yeah,
through motions that, yeah, those were some of the challenges. And then financially, I had I had a good job.
yeah.
I was doing my
What did
thing.
you do? What was
I
your
was
job?
a lawyer.
Yes, in
Serena.
Kenya. Shh, shh. Okay.
I was making money. Then
Yeah,
suddenly now the well has just gone dry.
dry.
I don't see anything coming in. And at the same time, I'm spending so much money. This is part of the other challenge evaluation of credential, non transferability, and trying to evaluate this credential so that someone can employ you. I was desperate. I was like,
Yeah,
okay, I will try as much as I can to do, even if I'm not licensed here, what can I do even online? There
yeah,
must be something, you know? And every time oh, this is a foreign credential, we gotta evaluate it. Guess what? How much a single evaluation is? $380 plus, I don't know what. And then you've applied to probably 4, 5 places. Do that 380 times five
Yeah, yeah.
with
As-
with no income, meaning
mm-hmm.
you're draining your saving,
Savings. Yep.
and you don't also see a way of making that money back because you're wondering, okay, once I get in, what else? So I got through some 2, 3 interviews, and then the last one, I'm told, well, you look like, you're a good candidate, but your experience is foreign. We don't know if you will know anything that goes on in the US. And I'm
Yeah,
like, why didn't you tell me that in the
in the
beginning? So
beginning.
it
Now, I
was,
will say that I do know the credentialing has changed a little. I don't know about attorney credentialing, but I know, like with teachers, especially with teachers, military spouse teachers gone from state to state. I have heard that their transfer of credentials from state to state has definitely got easier. I think that's also the same with nursing as well, because such a large percentage of military spouses are either teachers or, they are nurses, that it's unfair. It's not almost unfair. It is unfair that you
and
cannot,
social
yes,
workers too. So there's a lot of that
changes.
reciprocity
Hmm.
that's happening. And I'm glad that we are doing all the
But it
advocacy
takes people like
but it's different.
yourselves to shout about it.
It does, but it's
Yeah.
different when you're coming from another country.
Hmm.
By the way, it still doesn't apply to lawyers. That one I'm very sure
Hmm.
because I'm part of MSJD, and it's different when you still have to make sure that this nursing, teaching, social work degree
Hmm.
can be accepted into the US first
Yes.
before it can even be
Yes.
accepted as you move with your military side.
Absolutely. I
So
mean, my
that's
sister was the same. She came over to the States at a time when they were crying out for nurses. This was a long time ago. And she'd been through the British medical, system, got credentialed there. And then when she moved to the US, she had to go through the American system as well. So, totally to your point, yes, when you're a foreign born spouse and you have a credential outside the US, you have to deal with how is that transferable? If so, in what way? If it is at all transferable to stateside. And then there is that other quandary that's, the spanner that's thrown in the works where, okay, today you're in Delaware and tomorrow you're in New Jersey. And I don't know, maybe in 3 weeks' time you're going to be in San Diego. There's that uncertainty. So again, for foreign-born spouses, it's layers. It's
Mhm.
like every military spouse, unfortunately, again, that has a credential in one state has some issue with getting it approved in another. But when you throw on top of that, to your point, my credential is from outside of the US. How does that work? Fadoua, what about you? You had a credential? You came to the US. You had studied. When you moved here, um, how was it for you? Because I know that as we spoke in the past, you were up at Pendleton and you lived on Pendleton, but it wasn't as easy as what you would think. Oh, well, she lives on base, everything is there, and she's good to go, because that's that,
Assumption.
yes.
Mhm.
I was thinking about the 5 stages of grief and loss when
Hmm.
Lydia was talking.
Hmm.
Mm.
And if you talk to a civilian
Hmm.
couple, right,
Hmm.
they would not associate the 5 stages of grief and loss with getting married to somebody, right? But for us, foreign-born spouses in particular, right,
Hmm.
that come from an established career, established life, really, this is something that we were not aware about. Like one thing that I was craving and looking for is someone to show me the light when I
Hmm.
moved to America, which is what we're trying to do right now with FMSN.
Hmm.
Is we're trying to show the new military spouses that you know what, it is difficult, it is challenging, it is tough.
Hmm.
You are going to go through the denial phase. The denial phase is, oh, I'm happily in love with my service member. I married them. I chose to be their life partner. I chose to come to this beautiful country. I chose to serve alongside of them. Nothing is wrong. Everything is fine. I'll be fine. That's the denial phase. And then you are faced by the multitude of challenges. Not only are you living with a stranger at this point for a lot of us, you are living with
Yes.
more likely a man
Mm-hmm.
in the service, right? And you have to already have a whole new psyche about it, but
Mm-hmm.
also sometimes we are living on base, and that's a whole other culture. You are not off base, you're on base. And for me personally, a story of my own personal experience is that I had to sit through classes on base, the links classes, the lifestyle insight, etc. classes to tell me how I should behave as a spouse on the base, what I should wear, should not wear, what I should say, should not say,
Ooh.
the command, the driving on base, the you have to stop at this point, you have to stop for that. Things that the civilian world is completely unaware about, you know? That is also something that I had to learn. What do you mean I'm not supposed to wear my shorts at the PX? What does that mean? It's hot. No, you're not supposed to wear short shorts. You're not supposed to wear, crop tops. All of the stuff that I had no idea
Mm-hmm.
that, are, spoken, unspoken rules. So that's the
Yes.
stage of anger, of resistance, of like, I'm my own person. What do you mean I have to abide by rules? I am not the service member. I'm the spouse. Well, guess what? You signed up to be that person's partner. You are representation of your spouse, whether he is an enlisted or he is a command or a captain or a general, whatever the case might be. You are a representation of your spouse. I'm a very vocal person. My husband knows that about me. When we got married, he had to sit me down
Mm-hmm.
and tell me, Fadwa, sometimes just think about what you would say might have repercussions on me. And I'm like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
I am my own person. Why
Mm-hmm.
am I representing you? Why does my opinions and views would in any way impact somebody's view of you? We
Mm-hmm.
are different people. We are not. I'm his partner. He's my partner, and we are representation of each other, more so me than him.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something that I had to be like resistant and like, oh, that doesn't make any sense. Mind you, I fought for my freedom and liberty in my own society, in my own culture to become who I am.
Yep.
And then I come to the land of the free and to the land of the beautiful country of America. But I live in a different community of America, which is the military,
Yeah.
where you have to be very, very mindful
Mm-hmm.
of what you say, who to talk to, what do you talk about, and all of that stuff,
Mm-hmm.
right? Then
Yes.
the other stage, which is bargaining. Okay, you know what? That's okay. I can work with that.
Uh-huh.
I have degrees, I have a career under my belt, I have all of that stuff. I can apply for jobs. I'll be my own person. I don't have to depend on you. Well, guess what? Your degrees and your experience, you need to filter that through the multitude of certificate,
Yeah.
credentials, transfer, university degrees. Even if you got a university degree from America, that doesn't really say much about whatever the employer is looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? And
Yep.
that's when, instead of looking for lawyers level work, or in my case, political specialist work,
Mm-hmm.
you're like, you know what? I'll do admin
Yeah.
stuff, or I'll do a receptionist. I'll
Mm-hmm.
do whatever kind of job, as long as I get my independence again, my financial independence, especially, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And then when all of that, it's just so much. Your
It
husband
is.
is away, leaves the house at 4 in the morning, comes back at 8 if you're lucky.
Mm-hmm.
And there's limited mental capacity for that service member to sit down with you and talk to you about anything that you've been through. And so
Mm-hmm.
you find yourself isolated even more and
Yes.
in your own couple, in your own family, right? And that's when you're just like depressed. And that's what
Yeah.
happened to me. Yeah, that's what happened to me. And Lydia had to go back to Kenya for a lifeline,
Yeah.
essentially, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I did the same. Remember when we were
Yeah.
talking, I went back to my country when my husband was deployed and I was unemployed, broke,
Yep.
isolated,
Yep.
in a real bad state of mental health. I was extremely vulnerable, very depressed. I didn't know who I am anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yep.
any of that didn't matter to anybody I met.
Yep.
So I had to go
Nobody
home.
can understand it though. I mean, it took me a long time to admit this. but I went through a period of depression similar to what you are saying because, like, and I thought I was too cool for school because I thought to myself, I got this. I've traveled the world. Bring
We
it
all
on,
said that.
America,
We all said that.
Yeah.
We all said that.
And
I studied in America. This is going to be a piece of cake.
yeah. And the
I'm a
thing,
lawyer. I got this. I put criminals back in jail. I got this.
I ended up taking it. For me, it got to a point where, and first of all, I didn't just live with one guy, I lived with two guys. So my guy went on deployment and I had a roommate, and I'm looking at the roommate and I'm thinking, I don't even know who you are, you know? So, and this is not the guy I banked on living with. Thankfully, I mean, really cool roommate. But yeah, I was so desperate. I thought to myself at one point, I need to have something that I can call my own. So what I decided to do was I needed a job. And the only job that was coming up at that time, and I'd been a flight attendant, it was 7.25 an hour. It was 4 hours a week at Hallmark Aviation, San Diego Airport. And I remember that I went in on Monday to get my work permit. Tuesday, I went for the interview. Wednesday, I started work. And to me, I felt like I had just
Hit the
split the
jackpot.
atom. Yeah, I'm like, I'm earning 7.25 an hour. I got a job, man. I got a job. I got a job. And you know what I didn't understand was I got my 7.25 an hour. I did my 4 hours a week. I did that for a while. And then I got another little part-time job. It's a shitty job because I didn't know what else I was going to do. But hey, it was what it was. So then I got paid and I looked at my money and I'm thinking, well, now they've just taken more from, I just made, now they're taking what's got. And I said to my husband, I said, well, there's something wrong. The government has got it wrong. And he went, Surrender, you can argue with them till you're blue in the face, sister. But the way it works is the more money you make, the more you pay. And it's not like I was making, I mean, 7.25 back in the day, But to your point, a little bit of independence, a little bit of you, just to
Yeah.
find you. Let,
Yeah.
let's,
But also the community.
yes,
Had I find someone who can relate to my experience and to my story, like
yes,
Lydia, that might have made me feel better. That might have made me see the light at the end of the tunnel.
yeah,
That might have given me the support that another American-born military spouse who might have been familiar with the military,
mm-hmm,
who might have been on another, I mean, intellectual level, who might
yeah,
have been younger than me, would not be able to give me. But
yeah,
someone who might share my experience, even though it's completely different, it would have been that little tiny like support that you can just
yes,
be like, okay, you know what? It's a lot of challenges, it's a lot of issues right now,
mm-hmm,
but Lydia made it.
mm-hmm,
She seems to be in control of her mental state. I
mm-hmm,
think I might be, next. And so that's also another thing that we are focusing on at FMSN, which is community, community, community. It's incredible what we can do to improve someone's. We literally save lives when someone comes to you with what they see as the end of the world
yeah,
issue, and you come to them and you're like, you know what? 2 years ago, I went
mm-hmm,
through that. Here's what you need to do. Da, 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 da.
yeah. I think for all of us, I mean, there was no role model or somebody I could call. The command never said, okay, we have another foreign born spouse, you want to connect with her. There wasn't that kind of referral system.
Yes.
And even when we met for I mean, the reason I put that little foreign born spouse group together, which is, slowly grown, is because we know there are spouses out there that have this need. And I am so incredibly proud that, the you guys have actually put something together that's solid, that is, okay, we are here, we can help. So now people can reach out to you.
It's
Yeah.
definitely Lydia.
That, well, all of us.
Flowers to Lydia.
Yeah.
No, no, Lydia, let's just be real about this. For me personally, if I didn't see Lydia as an example, as a representation of another foreign-born spouse, I was chasing every opportunity under the sun. including the Hiring Our Hero Fellowship.
Yep.
And Lydia was one of the managers, one of the people at HOH that defined herself, presented herself, introduced herself as a foreign born
On
spouse.
spouse. Yeah.
Me, while I was navigating challenging times, seeing her on my screen, essentially guiding the rest of us fellows and
Mm-hmm.
candidates, it really gave me a lot of reassurance that, you know what, I might be able to get out of the difficult situation because
Yeah.
she did. So all props to Lydia. She
Oh,
did
yeah.
most of the legwork with FMSN. I'll let you, Lydia, take
Tell
it.
us about
Thank
tell
you.
us about the Foreign Born Military Spouse Network. And what I because I know that Lydia, you're going to have to jump off soon, but the important thing I want to get out while you're here is how can people connect with both of you?
Thank you. Let's start from the journey into the Foreign Born Military Spouse Network. So, from my experience, that I felt some nobody else should go through this. Um, Once I found out my identity, I pivoted into the space because I felt like if I did not know this until 12 years after, there must be something going on somewhere that needs to be fixed, you know?
Yes.
So I went into Blue Star Families. I was a deploy fellow, and I used that opportunity to do a research on the challenges of foreign-born spouses. And guess what? Even the response that we got of over 300 spouses just blew everybody's mind. Like, oh, we didn't expect. We thought 50 people would. We got more
Mm-hmm.
than 300 without even people knowing who Lydia was. At that point, Lydia was just talking on LinkedIn. So that revealed to me and really confirmed my own challenges. Other
Mm-hmm.
people were going through this, and I was like, just a aha moment. Then
Mm-hmm.
this is true. It's not just me. I'm not crazy.
No.
I'm not, because for a long time I thought, Lydia, this just must be you. Are you lazy? Don't you know how to look
Y-
for things? Don't you, I
You have that
questioned myself
self-doubt.
for years that there must have been something wrong with me. And now that confirmation, I was like, okay, what do I do from now? All right. So it
Mm.
was just a matter of talking to people, saying, hey, if you need this, if you need that, I'm willing to talk. That I now started to gather all the information I needed, put them in like a spreadsheet. Anytime someone reached out, we're like, oh, employment, oh, start from hiring our heroes, then go into Hire Heroes USA. They will help you with the resume. They'll do this. So I was gathering everything I needed. Like, what did I need that I didn't
Mm-hmm.
have then? Someone to talk to, number one. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
open up myself for people to talk to. Two, I did not know these resources, so I was gathering them slowly and putting them in a place where people could I could share
Access
it with
them.
people.
Yeah.
Now that became overwhelming. Then I went into hiring a heroes, just to see for myself and also to be a face. By the way, I chose whatever position I was in intentionally
Uh-huh.
because I needed my face out there.
Yeah.
If I had seen my face out there at some point, I would have maybe thought about it. And I said, someone has to see me, someone has to hear the way I speak for them to know that it's okay, that we are here. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
we are here. People like Lydia are here. See, it worked for Fadoua. She knew, oh, there are foreign spouses in here like me. There
Yeah.
are these people like me. And so that gave me the first-hand experience into what foreign-born spouses really do go through. And I thought to myself, how do I balance this need to work and also to support? And I developed the Foreign-born military spouse playbook, which then is a step-by-step guide that supports spouses in their journey. Just simple things like, what is the army? What is the slogan? What do they wear?
Mm-hmm.
What are the bases? Things like that. And then going into, if you're going to get a visa or whatever, or you're processing your immigration, what are the steps that you need? What are the
Yes.
the simple things that people might like, what is that? But I needed it,
Mm-hmm.
and I know someone else will need it. And then after that, just people like Fadua and other people, still the need felt really great, and I
Mm-hmm.
needed to do something. And so that necessitated the organization, which then, because I remember even reaching out to senators and congress people saying, hey, there's this person's immigration issue that's stuck at this place, because I learned that you can actually do that. So I
Oh,
was
so you
calling
made
and
the
I was
phone calls?
writing. Yes, and writing emails, and then yes, I did a lot of that for people, you know.
Wow.
And then I realized some of them were going unanswered, nobody was caring. And I was like, what would change this? the organization. And guess what? Since we started writing letters to the organization, guess what? We are getting responses. So the
Wow.
organization is needed
It is
because
needed.
foreign-born spouses need representation.
Mm-hmm.
If someone sees, oh, I'm writing on behalf of someone who is a foreign-born spouse, the husband is here, they take you seriously. Okay.
Yes.
And apart from
Yes.
that, we need people to know how to support us. How do they support us? If
Yes.
we're just everywhere, we need to be organized. We need to be in a place where people can find us. So as we progress, you can reach us through our info email, info@fbmnetwork.com. We have a website which has a plethora of things, including the playbook and the database of resources. This database I was talking about that is curated for immigrants.
Yes.
We are at an intersection of being in the military and immigrants. So those two come together, and the resources that are just available in the military are not enough. You need a
Mm-hmm.
lot more. So I have combined these in a way that even if you're in a state that there's not so much for the military, you will find something that is available for you for
I like
the
that.
immigrants. Okay,
I like
so
that.
that database of resources is filled with things from immigration to healthcare to childcare to cultural assimilation to a lot of other things that if you take your time and go through, you will find something for where you need. You can even check by state what's available in this state,
I
what's
love
available in
that.
this. Yeah. So just go there and check. We also have a Facebook group, which is
Mm-hmm.
the community, which is how we are curing this isolation issue that makes our mental health like go crazy. So if you want to come, we really, really ask that you come on the group and join a community of people that you can ask, hey, where can I buy this type of chicken? Honey, I've asked
Yes.
that in that group because
Uh-huh.
at some point I just did something I want to relate with. People ask about bread, about yogurt, about those
Yeah.
simple things that make your life a little bit better. Someone that you want to speak Portuguese with,
Mm-hmm.
Swahili, Arab, whatever you want to speak, someone that you feel some sense of home with. So
Yeah.
that is what the group is. It's actually, we call it, we put it there, your home away from home.
I
Honestly, you
love
need your
that.
home away from home. Yeah.
Now, let me ask you, for the when we met in San Diego, had you been to a foreign-born spouse group before?
Yes,
How
yes.
many had you been to? Because I had never heard of them in San Diego. That's why I put my little shindig together. I was like, well, like, because after I spoke at MSF, I had a couple of foreign-born spouses come up to me and they were like, "Oh my gosh, you're not from here," So we all need to kind of like get together, and I still want to get them cooking their cultural dishes. That's very
Yeah.
important to me as well. So, what other groups in San Diego did you gravitate towards, or were you aware of?
So we have chapters almost everywhere in the United States. Wherever there's an installation, there's an FMSN chapter.
Mm-hmm.
And mind you, these chapters and these groups, they started organically. They started even
Nice.
before the organization became officially a nonprofit.
Mm-hmm.
It was born out of a need base. People were just looking for other people to kind of relate to.
Mm-hmm.
Also, your mom's sister, cousin, and best friend is not here in America. And so when you are feeling like your back is against the wall, you might have issues with your service member.
Mm-hmm.
You might have issues with your neighbors. You
Mm-hmm.
might have cultural misunderstanding between you and your in-laws. And it just doesn't make sense for you to go to someone who doesn't relate
No,
to
yeah.
you to ask for advice. And so you go to these groups and you can't ask someone who lives in New York who know nothing about you. You can ask someone that is within the proximity, whether you're in Camp Pendleton or 29 Palms, I'm talking for Marine installations,
Mm-hmm.
or San Diego, right? And you just go there and be like, hey, I'm from Tunisia, for example.
Mm-hmm.
I'm from Tunisia. My religion is this, that, blah, 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 whatever. I seem to be hitting the wall all the time, every time I try to talk to my in laws, da 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 da
Mm-hmm.
da da, whatever, right? That's someone that's been living there for 10 plus years. They already learned how to bridge that gap in
Mm-hmm.
communication. They would come to you as a big sister, as a mother, as a cousin, as a friend, and talk to you about it. So it's an organic thing. It's just like the you used to go to your neighbor and talk to them. Now it's
Yeah.
Facebook. Groups and chapters are everywhere, and that was me. I was going through a really difficult time, and I was very homesick. And it was Ramadan, the time where we fast for a month.
Mm-hmm.
And I had nobody in my own immediate community that identified as a Muslim or fasted or anything like that. And
Mm-hmm.
Ramadan for us is about community.
Mm-hmm.
So I just was like, Facebook, and I was like, foreign spouses. And one thing led to another, found myself on the Camp Pendleton Foreign Born Spouse chapter on Facebook group, put a post there. It's like, hey, so it's Ramadan around the corner. Is there anybody here? And honestly, I was just shooting my shot. I was like, nobody's here. Come on.
Yeah.
And to my surprise, I had a lot of people that were like, hey, I'm from Bangladesh, or I'm from India, or I'm from not even from my country, but we have the same culture, we have the same religious belief, and
Mm-hmm.
we have the same community sense. And it was such a lovely surprise. We ended up having a communal dinner on Camp Pendleton.
Oh, I love
Wow.
that.
So,
Yeah,
like I said, it's a lifeline. It's
Yeah.
it
something that's
is.
organic. And now that we can literally take it as an evidence, because with DOT, we like evidence-based
Yeah.
data. Take that as an evidence-based data of
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
here's a need,
Uh-huh.
there's the marginalized community. It's not something that, the DoD or anybody within the military community wants to do it on purpose. It's just not something that people are aware about.
Yes.
And that's where we come and be like, highlight here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just before I drop off, I want to piggyback off of what Fadoua says in terms of data. It
Mm-hmm.
is grim. And when you talk about isolation, only 30% of foreign-born spouses, according to the MFLS in 2021, feel a sense of belonging
Less
in
than
the community.
30%.
Less than 30%. Less than 30%.
Wow. That's
Now, that
sad.
was the number then.
Mm-hmm.
How about the number now? The grimmest of them was that only 1% said they had one friend. Only 1% said they had
Had
one
one
friend.
friend. Wow.
We have to change that. We
Yeah,
are working
absolutely.
very hard to change that. We're seeing friendships being formed every day in the community. We are seeing people saying we were helping someone outside of the main group who confessed and said, Lydia, I will not lie to you. I belong to so many military spouse groups, but this is the only group that I felt safe to approach and tell you my problems.
Oh, wow.
It is the only one. And it is the latest one that I joined. She had been there for less than a month,
That is a true
having been in
testament.
so many other groups for so long, but
Yeah.
because she was here now, it's the only place she felt safe to talk about her problem and how she needed support.
Again, that
So,
is a true testament to what you have put together to
mhm,
where spouses are feeling that this is a safe place
yes.
for us to say, okay, hey, um, and as I'm listening to you both, this is crazy, but I think sometimes what foreign-born spouses do, I've done this. It's like when I moved here and I thought, okay, well, I need to go get some Indian spices. Where am I
Hmm.
going to go get these spices from? And then my mom sent them to me. So I didn't have
Oh,
to go anywhere, right?
yes, we do
Um,
that a
and so
lot.
so to be honest with you, for years, my mom or my sister who lived in Chicago, every time I went to visit, I'd grab them from there. But I would always think, where is my community in San
Yeah.
Diego?
Mm-hmm.
And now I have found that there is a big Indian community, and it's not all military, obviously, but I can go there and I can buy whatever it is I need. But for such a long time, I kind of like blew it off because I thought, it's not here. Why am I even gonna,
Yeah.
you know, I'm gonna be looking for a
Yeah.
needle in a haystack.
Yeah.
But again, it wasn't promoted when I moved here 26 years ago. I
Mm-hmm.
want to give you both such tremendous kudos because while I'm out and about in San Diego, I still get spouses coming. I get spouses coming up to me asking about the foreign born spouse group. And your biggest advocate, Tracy Steele, I tell
Mm.
you,
Oh, yes.
love, love, big shout out to Tracy Steele.
Big, big, big.
Yes, love her to pieces. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, she is always out there promoting you guys. I just recently saw something on LinkedIn as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I want you to know that as I am going out and about, and some of these foreign born spouses are coming to me, because again, I want to do my culinary um, event as well, where you cook your national dish and we get to, taste it. And you do a greeting in your language. Um, I'm still working on that, but yeah, I mean, the word is getting out, and this is exactly what we need. Listen, Lizia, before you go, I want you to say something in your native tongue, same as you for the web, for us to sign off on this program. I
Mhm.
want to end it with a big foreign-born spouse splash. So I know you have to get off, so I want you to say something, but I want you to tell us what you're saying.
Karibu nyumbani. That is Swahili that says welcome home.
Say that again.
Karibu
Karibu
nyumbani.
Numbani.
Mhm.
Oh, Karibu Numbani.
Welcome
Yeah.
home.
Oh, I love that. Okay, Fadoua, I'm learning. I'm learning.
يعيشك برشا على استقبالك لينا وعلى حديثك معنا. شرفنا برشا.
Lydia,
That's
I'm going to let you try
long.
that.
Not only is this Arabic, it's actually Tunisian Arabic is my dialect. And I'm saying thank
Yeah.
you so much for having us and for talking to us. And we are very honored to be here.
Oh, yes. Thank you, Surinda.
मैं बहुत
That's
खुश
amazing.
ਹਾਂ ਵੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੋਨੇ ਮੇਰੇ ਨਾਲ ਅੱਜ ਗੱਲ ਕੀਤੀ ਸ਼ੁਕਰੀਆ
Allah.
basically means listen, I am so proud to have you both on my episode today. I am so incredibly proud of you both. Thank you so much for what you are doing, because again, the need is there. It's been there for a long time,
It has
and you
been.
guys have been smart enough, sassy enough, feisty enough to, hey, we are doing this. I'm going to put the information up on my website, so foreign born spouses can get in touch with you. Anybody that I come across in San Diego, I'm also going to refer them to you. And what I'd like to do is come back and check in with you both in about 6 months, and let's see how your chapters have grown. If just what's been happening, especially in regards to, because you're smart enough to give people the information about, okay, you want to file for your immigration, this is the
Mm-hmm.
process. That's a
Mm-hmm.
huge biggie right there.
Yeah.
So, I want to come back and we want to talk about, have there been any changes there in credentials as well. But I got to give it to you guys. I mean, you guys are absolute rock stars, and this is the one thing about this military spouse arena, I will say, that it is available to every military spouse. Is there, it's a very niche demo. There are certain needs, and it takes military spouses who are the backbone to the backbone to put these things together. Huge, huge kudos to you both. Thank you so much for the sacrifice that you have done, being alone, Lydia, having your child, Fadoua being up at Pendleton. There's a lot of stories out there, and I would love to hear from foreign born spouses to share your stories. Um, I am going to ask you both very quickly before you go, give me one tip for a foreign born spouse. Lydia, what is the first thing a foreign born spouse should do when she enters the US with her service member?
Find the playbook.
Love it. Fadua, she beat you to the punch, but what is one of your tips?
No, one of my tips is find your community. Don't
Yeah.
wait too long. Do
Oh,
not wait
yeah.
too long.
Yeah.
We are there everywhere. We
Yeah.
are on Facebook. We are on LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
We are online. We are on all of the other socials. We are on TikTok, if you're a Gen
Yeah.
Zer.
Mm-hmm.
We are everywhere. And we are a safe space. We are
Yeah.
definitely a safe space for you. And we've been there, so find us, definitely.
I love
Karibu
it.
nyumbani. Karibu nyumbani.
There you go. Welcome home.
Shukriya, everybody. Listen, thank you, ladies, so very much. I look forward to catching up with you soon.
Thank you.
Awesome. Surinda, let's talk about the event in Camp Pendleton.
Yes, we definitely need to talk about some event happening San Diego side, because
Oh, San Diego. Okay.
San Diego, Pendleton, it's close by. We need to get something rocking and rolling.
Yeah.
Anybody out there that's listening right now that has to participate in this event should be involved in this event. You need to connect with myself, Fadoua, or Lydia. DM us, connect on LinkedIn, on our website. Join the movement. Let's grow this. Let's be loud, proud. We're foreign born spouses. We're here. We love being here.
Mm-hmm.
We just want stuff to be able to roll as smoothly for us as
Yeah.
possible.
Yes. Amazing.
You have been listening to The Goode Show. It has been my absolute honor and pleasure to have such go-getting spouses on here. I absolutely love it. Join us again next week. Stay tuned. And don't forget, go onto YouTube and press that subscribe button. Thank you. Thanks for tuning in to The Goode Show. I hope you have been inspired by today's conversation. If you loved what you heard, help us spread the word. Follow me on Instagram @The Goode Show. As military spouses, we all have stories to share, experiences, resources, and support. I want to hear your story and highlight your business. Let's connect, DM me, or visit surrendergoode.com to share your journey. Until next time, take care, stay inspired, and keep doing good things.